You steal a car battery. That is your first job. You are 14 years old. It is February. The temperature is -26. You pry it out of a Lada parked behind a grocery store in Yekaterinburg while your hands go numb. You sell it for 800 rubles, about $11. 20 years later, you will own a bank, a shipping company, 3 apartment buildings in London, a villa on the Black Sea that a deputy minister will ask to borrow for the summer. You will say yes, because you own him too. Let's start at the bottom. Level 1. The Shestyorka. The word means 6. As in the lowest card in the deck, that is what you are, the lowest. You are 16. You live in a communal apartment in Yekaterinburg with your mother and your grandmother. Your father left when you were 9. Nobody talks about where he went. A man named Kolya runs the block. Kolya is 24. He drives a black BMW that does not belong to him. He wears a leather jacket in every season. He has a scar on his left hand that he never explains. Kolya gives you errands. Deliver an envelope to a man at a cafe. Do not open it. Do not look inside. Do not be late. Pick up a bag from behind the train station. Bring it to an apartment on the 4th floor. Knock 3 times. Leave. Stand outside a restaurant for 4 hours and tell Kolya if a grey Mercedes arrives. You're paid in cash. Sometimes 3,000 rubles. Sometimes 5. Sometimes Kolya gives you a pair of shoes. They are too big. You wear them anyway. You are not part of anything yet. You are being watched. Every errand is a test. Can you follow instructions? Can you keep your mouth shut? Can you stand in the cold for 4 hours without complaining? Most boys fail. They talk, they skim, they ask questions. You do not ask questions. You deliver. Level 2. The Boets. The word means fighter. You have earned it. You are 19. Kolya introduces you to a man named Vova. Vova runs a crew of 8. They control protection rackets across 6 blocks of commercial real estate in the Uralmash district. Every shop owner on those 6 blocks pays, monthly, in cash, a butcher, a phone repair kiosk, a woman who sells flowers from a metal stall. They all pay between 10 and 30,000 rubles a month. The ones who do not pay receive a visit. You are the visit. You break a florist's front window at 4 in the morning. You slash the tires on a restaurant owner's car. You stand outside a mobile phone shop for 3 days. You stare at the owner through the glass until he calls Vova and agrees to the terms. You never touch anyone. Not yet. The threat is enough. Vova pays you 40,000 rubles a month. About $550. You move out of your mother's apartment. You rent a 1-bedroom near the train station. You get your first tattoo, a small cross on your left hand between the thumb and index finger. It means you have served the brotherhood. You tell yourself, this is temporary, a stepping stone, a way out of the cold. Level 3. The Brigadier. You are 23. Vova is arrested for assault. He will serve 4 years. His crew needs a leader. Kolya points at you. You now command 7 men. Your territory generates roughly 250,000 rubles per month, about $3,500. You keep 15%, the rest goes up. But here is the catch. You're not just collecting money, you're managing people. A shop owner's daughter is sick. He cannot pay this month. You defer the payment, you send his daughter medicine. Next month he pays double without being asked. A rival crew from the Centralny district sends 2 men to shake down a cafe on your block. You meet them in the parking lot behind the cafe. You do not fight. You give them a phone number. You tell them to call it. The phone number belongs to a man you have never met. A man 3 levels above you. The 2 men from Centralny call the number. They leave your territory. They do not come back. You are learning that violence is the most expensive tool in the kit. The cheapest tool is a phone call from the right person. You have 2 choices. A shop owner refuses to pay and publicly insults your crew. His defiance is visible to every other business on the block. Option A. You make an example of him. Burn his shop, send a message. Option B, you find what he cares about most and apply pressure quietly. The correct answer is B. You discover he is sending his son to a university in Moscow. You arrange for the son's dormitory to receive a visit. Nothing happens to the boy, but the father understands. He pays the next morning. Public violence attracts police. Quiet leverage attracts loyalty. Level 4, the Avtoritet. The word means authority. You have it now, you're 28, you control not one crew, but 4. 31 men answer to you across 3 districts. Your operation has expanded beyond protection. You run a car theft ring that strips vehicles for parts and ships them to Kazakhstan. You control a network of illegal gambling rooms in basements across the city. You have a silent partnership in a construction firm that wins municipal contracts by bribing the procurement officer. Your annual income is approximately 18 million rubles, about $250,000. You buy your mother a new apartment. You tell her the money comes from the construction business. She does not ask questions. She has learned that from you. A detective from the Yekaterinburg MVD calls you, not to arrest you, to negotiate. He wants 20,000 rubles a month. In exchange, he will warn you before any raids on your gambling operations. He will lose paperwork on pending investigations. He will redirect patrol routes away from your territory on collection nights. You meet him at a diner near the train station. He orders tea. He does not make eye contact. He slides a napkin across the table with a phone number on it. His personal cell. You pay him. Within 6 months, you're paying 4 officers. Within a year, you have a contact inside the prosecutor's office. The prosecutor's contact is more expensive, 50,000 rubles a month, but he is worth it. He tells you which investigations are real and which ones are for show. In Russia, the distinction matters. You are no longer hiding from the state, you are renting it. You tell yourself this is just business. The system is corrupt anyway. You're simply better at navigating it than most people. Level 5, the Sovietnik. The word means counselor. You no longer work with your hands. You work with your voice. You are 32. A man named Zakar Timofeyevich Orlov summons you to Moscow. Zakar is a Vor of Zakone, Vor of Zakone, a crowned thief-in-law, the highest rank in the brotherhood. He was crowned in a Georgian prison in 1994. He has spent 11 years of his life behind bars. He has never held a legitimate job. He has never cooperated with authorities, and he has never been convicted of a single violent crime. Other people handle that for him. Zakar operates from a penthouse in the Presnensky district. The apartment is owned by a holding company registered in Cyprus. The holding company is owned by a trust in Liechtenstein. The trust is administered by a lawyer in Zurich who has never met Zakar. Your job is to advise Zakar on territorial disputes, business partnerships, and succession planning. You sit in on meetings where men twice your age argue about shipping routes and heroin distribution, about which politicians to support in the next regional election. You speak only when Zakar asks you to speak. You learn the rules of the Vorovskoy Zakon, the Thieves' Code, no cooperation with the state, no family ties that compromise the brotherhood, no legitimate employment. The code was written in the gulags in the 1930s. Parts of it are outdated, all of it is enforced. You tell yourself you're an advisor, a strategist, a professional. But here is what nobody tells you about advising a Vor. When his decisions go wrong, someone pays. And the advisor is always close enough to the blast. Level 6, the Obshchak Keeper. The Obshchak is the common fund. Every crew, every brigadier, every Avtoritet contributes a percentage of their earnings. The money flows upward. It pools in the Obshchak. Zakar appoints you to manage it. You now control approximately $14 million in liquid assets. Cash, gold, cryptocurrency held in wallets with keys stored on hardware devices in 3 countries. The Obshchak pays for lawyers when members are arrested. It pays bribes to prison officials. It funds the families of members serving sentences. It bankrolls new operations. You move money through a network of shell companies. You purchase real estate in Dubai through a Panamanian holding company. You buy a car wash chain in Prague that generates just enough legitimate revenue to justify the cash deposits. You design a system for converting cryptocurrency to rubles through a series of peer-to-peer exchanges routed through Telegram bots. Each transaction is under the reporting threshold. The total volume exceeds $2 million per month. You have 2 choices. A brigadier in St. Petersburg has been skimming from his contributions to the Obshchak. The shortfall is $40,000 over 6 months. Option A. You report him to Zakar. Zakar will handle it. The brigadier will not survive the handling. Option B. You confront the brigadier privately. You give him 30 days to repay. You add 20% interest. The correct answer is B. A dead brigadier generates 0 revenue. A frightened brigadier who owes you money generates revenue and loyalty. Zakar does not need to know. Not yet. You tell yourself you just saved a man's life. You also just acquired leverage over a crew leader who will do anything you ask for the next 5 years. Compassion and strategy are the same thing when the alternative is a body. Level 7. The Vory Zakone. You are crowned at 41. The ceremony takes place in a private room at a restaurant in Tbilisi, Georgia. 7 existing Vory attend. Each one vouches for you. They ask you questions. Have you ever cooperated with the state? Have you ever held legitimate employment? Have you ever betrayed a brother? You answer correctly. You receive a new tattoo, stars on your shoulders. They mean you bow to no one. A cathedral on your chest. Each dome represents a sentence served. Yours has 4. You are now one of roughly 400 living Vory v Zakone, a fraternity that has existed since the 1930s. You're bound by the Thieves' Code. You're expected to arbitrate disputes between crews, authorize new operations, and protect the Brotherhood's interests above your own. The code says you cannot marry. You can have women. You cannot have a wife. The code says you cannot own property in your own name. The code says if a brother calls, you answer, no matter the hour, no matter the cost. You return to Moscow. You sit at a table with men who control drug trafficking corridors from Afghanistan to Western Europe. Men who own shipping companies, banks, and members of parliament. A dispute arises between 2 brigades in Rostov-on-Don. A territorial line has been crossed. A casino that was supposed to be shared is now controlled by one side. The other side burned a warehouse in response. 3 men are dead. Both brigadiers want blood. You fly to Rostov. You sit in a room with both brigadiers. You listen for 4 hours. You speak for 6 minutes. You redraw the territorial line. You assign the casino to the aggrieved brigade. You assign compensation for the dead, $30,000 per man, paid to their families from the Obshchak. You set a 60-day cooling period. Both sides agree, not because your solution is fair, because your stars say it is final. You did not raise your voice. You did not threaten anyone. Your authority is the code. The code is older than everyone in the room. You fly home. You do not sleep on the plane. You think about the 3 dead men. You did not know their names. You assigned a dollar value to their lives and called it justice. That is what a Vor does. He does not kill. He prizes. Level 8. The Pakhan. You are the boss of a network spanning 4 cities. Moscow, St. Petersburg, Yekaterinburg, Rostov. 12 crews. Over 200 men. Annual revenue exceeding $120 million across drugs, extortion, construction fraud, cybercrime, and weapons trafficking. You live in a gated compound outside Moscow. The compound has its own security team. Former Spetsnaz, 6 men who rotate in pairs. They sweep the property every morning for listening devices. They check every vehicle that enters the gate. They do not answer to the local police. The local police answer to you. But here is the catch. The Kremlin knows you exist. The FSB has a file on you that is, by your estimation, about 70% accurate. They know your cruise. They know your routes. They know about the apartment in St. Petersburg. The one where you keep $4 million in euros inside a wall safe behind a painting of the Black Sea. They do not arrest you because you are useful. When the government needs something moved quietly, they call someone who calls you. Cash to a foreign political party. Weapons to a militia in Africa. Pressure applied to a business that will not sell. You are not an enemy of the state. You are its shadow logistics department. A deputy minister invites you to a dinner at a private club near the Kremlin. You sit 3 seats from a man whose face you recognize from television. He does not look at you. He does not need to. Everyone at the table knows why you are both there. The wine costs more per bottle than Kolya's BMW was worth. You catch yourself thinking about Kolya, the leather jacket, the scar on his hand. Kolya is dead now. Shot in 2014 outside a nightclub in Yekaterinburg. You paid for the funeral. You did not attend. You tell yourself this is the top, but the top in Russia is not a rank. It is a relationship. And relationships in Russia are renegotiated every time the wind changes. Level 9. The oligarch. The word used to mean something specific. A man who bought state assets for pennies after the Soviet collapse. Aluminum, oil, nickel, telecommunications. Now it means you. You are 53. Your legitimate holdings are worth approximately $1.2 billion. Real estate in London, a shipping company registered in Malta, an energy trading firm in Geneva, a tech investment fund in Singapore. Your illegitimate holdings are worth roughly the same. The 2 columns have merged so completely that your own accountant cannot always tell which dollar started clean and which one was washed. His name is Dieter. He works in Zurich, he drinks black coffee and never takes notes. You have a flat in Belgravia, 5 bedrooms, a private garden. Your children attend private school in Surrey. They speak better English than Russian. They do not know what you do. They think you are in energy. You donate to the Royal Opera House. You have been photographed shaking hands with 2 British cabinet ministers at a charity gala. The photographs are on your office wall. The UK's National Crime Agency has a file on you. Their Combating Kleptocracy cell was built in 2022 to investigate men exactly like you. 50 officers, specialized in tracing sanctioned wealth through shell companies and nominee structures. But you are also a major employer, a taxpayer, a donor. Touching you means headlines, lawsuits, and diplomatic complications that nobody wants. You're too expensive to prosecute and too dangerous to ignore. You have 2 choices. Western sanctions are tightening. Your London assets are at risk of being frozen. You can move everything to Dubai, where enforcement is weaker and Russian money is welcome. Or you can stay in London and fight the sanctions through legal channels. The correct answer depends on how long you think the world will keep pretending you are legitimate. Most oligarchs move to Dubai. You stay, because leaving London means admitting what the money is. And you have spent 30 years making sure nobody can prove it. Level 10. The shadow. You own nothing. That is the point. Every asset is held in a trust managed by a law firm in Liechtenstein. Every trust is administered by a nominee director who has never met you. Every company is registered in a jurisdiction that does not share information with Interpol. You have not used your real name on a financial document in 9 years. Your net worth is unknowable. Forbes has tried. The FBI has tried. The estimates range from $800 million to $3 billion. The truth is that the number changes daily because your portfolio includes commodities, real estate, and debts owed by governments. You live between Moscow, Dubai, and a villa on Lake Geneva. You travel on a passport from a country that sells citizenship for $2 million. You have 3. You have not had a conversation in 8 years that was not transactional. Your mother died while you were in Geneva. You flew home for the funeral. You stood at the grave in Yekaterinburg. The cemetery was 6 blocks from the grocery store where you stole the car battery at 14. You stood there in a coat that cost more than every car in the parking lot combined. And you felt nothing. Not grief, not triumph, just the cold. The same cold, minus 26. You tell yourself you escaped. You tell yourself the boy who stole the battery is gone, that he became someone else. But the code is still tattooed on your shoulders. The stars that mean you bow to no one. You bow to everyone now. To bankers, to politicians, to regulators, to the men in the Kremlin who can freeze your accounts with a phone call, to the men in London who can seize your flat with a court order. You are the most powerful version of yourself and the most trapped. The phone rings. A brigadier in Rostov. A new problem. A shipment intercepted. A payment missing. A name that needs to disappear. You answer. You always answer. Because stopping means someone else inherits the network. Someone else holds the leverage. Someone else decides whether the code protects you or buries you. You were 14 once. You stole a car battery in the cold. You never stopped stealing. You just got better at it. His name was Semion Mogilevich. The FBI called him the boss of bosses. He has been on their most wanted list since 2009. He has never been extradited. He lives in Moscow. Now you know what it costs to climb every rank in the Brotherhood. And you know why nobody at the top ever leaves. Subscribe for more.